Hello folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy fishing channel. Now don't worry, I promise you this is a fishing video. It's just that I've sat down to edit it and the intro I did sounded like I was sat on the back of a jet engine. So I'm going to do it again from the comfort of the living room. Now what a February it has been, folks. It has been horrendous in Derbyshire, this part of the country. It just hasn't stopped raining for the whole month. And actually this session that I filmed was the first time I actually got on the water for 21 days. It was 3 weeks of basically constant rain. We had some huge floods in Derbyshire, some of the biggest floods that we'd seen in a long time. And to be honest, I thought my chances of getting out in February at all were going to be pretty slim. I was at home going through all the gauges, seeing just how bad it was, and one of the little streams local to me, I had a second look at the gauge and I was like, actually that looks alright. Like, I'm sure I fished it at that height before. But I knew it was going to be a little bit of a gamble, but with nothing else to do, I chucked the stuff in the car. I was like, let's go and have a look at it, see what happens. Maybe there's a chance for grayling, who knows. On the drive down there was flooded fields everywhere, standing water everywhere. Even after I got my waders on, walking to the river, there was puddles everywhere, standing water everywhere, and I thought, nah, there's no way this is going to happen. But I couldn't believe it. I got to the river and actually, it was alright, it was fine. It was a little bit high, it was a little bit coloured, but there was about 18 inches of visibility in the water, which in a small stream like this is plenty. I couldn't believe my luck. So I jumped in and cracked on, and actually it went okay in the end. In terms of kit, kept it simple, 10-foot 3-weight nymphing rod, rigged up with our Euro nymphing in a box kit. If you guys are interested in Euro nymphing, if that's something you're going to do in the grayling season, what's left of it in the trout season coming up, don't forget to check out the Euro nymphing in a box kit down at the web shop. Here's a couple of other bits and pieces going on there as well. But that's all I used for the entire day. Forecast was good, but it was forecast to get worse throughout the afternoon. I knew I was up against it in terms of time. So we jumped in the river, cracked straight on, and here is how it went. Okie doke, pool number one, and as I say, I'm looking at slacks and holes and stuff like that, and just past a rod length we've got exactly that here. There's a lovely slack at about mid-river. That should do me absolutely perfectly. So I'm just going to try and fish this through that slower water. Everything's going to have to be a bow and arrow from here because of this tree right at the rod tip. I've got a red tag on the point, 4mm red tag on the point. I've got a red worm on the middle dropper. And I've got a baby pink on the top dropper because actually the water isn't as bad as I thought it might have been. That red worm's great with a bit of colour on the river. And that baby pink is just a grayling catcher. Try not to stand up, obviously with it only being a small stream. I don't want to be stood right over these fish. Get this a little bit further upstream, a little bit further across. Oh, I'm fairly sure that was a fish. I think I've just missed the first take of the day. I might just give myself a bit more line here actually and try and shoot some of this on that bow and arrow cast. There we go, a bit further. Ooh, that's a soft bank. First couple of steps in, and really this is the bit that I was looking at. It's this seamy water over here. It looks really fishy. Be surprised if I couldn't find a grayling in that. There's going to be a fish over there for me, I can feel it. There's going to be one over there. Especially getting those flies across, getting contact quickly. Oh, there he is. I thought there'd be one there somewhere. Took a little bit longer to find him than I thought. But we have finally hooked a fish. Right, a bit of a weird one this, but I'm probably going to do something I don't usually do here and flip the rod round this way. I can't drag him up this bank because of the speed of the water below me. So actually the safest place for me to pull this fish up is actually up through the slower water on the far side. It's the opposite way round to how I like to play fish. But in this situation, I think it's probably the right thing to do. He's taken the baby pink on the top dropper. Yay! First fish in a while, that. That's justified coming out. It's been way too long since I caught a fish. But within a couple of minutes of getting here, we're off the mark. Awesome. Good. Well, I thought there was going to be one in here for me somewhere. I must admit, I didn't catch that fish where I thought I was going to catch one. But I do think I've got fish in front of me. Interestingly, he took the baby pink and not the squirmy. So I actually took the less kind of offensively coloured of the two flies. It's making me wonder if I could possibly have a little bit of an early fly change here and perhaps try something that's a little bit less gaudy. There we are. So this might come off. I'll explain why. So I hooked a snag where I've hooked this fish a couple of casts ago.
And I just assumed when the indicator stopped then I'd hooked the same snag. It wasn't, it was a fish. That was absolute rookie hour, that was. So if this comes off, I've only got myself to blame. Interesting to see which fly it is. It's on the squirmy, so maybe my thoughts about changing that have changed slightly. Another small stream grayling. This one's gone absolutely bonkers from the second it hit the net. Nice fish. This is cool. I wasn't expecting this. So that was me saying I was going to take the squirmy off. No, it stays on for the moment. And I definitely have got fish in front of me. That was absolute rookie on my part. I just didn't strike, I just didn't think it was a fish. I kind of talked myself out of it being a fish. Fortunately, it held onto that squirmy long enough for me to still get a hook set on it. Right, he just jumped out for 2 minutes. I've actually changed both flies. Now, it might sound a bit weird, obviously with me having caught a fish on each fly, but I feel like there's more fish in here. So I've changed to a spangle shrimp on the middle dropper, a nice visible spangle shrimp. And then on the top dropper I've put the orange bead hairs in. Both of these flies are flies from our coloured water grayling packs, and this is the kind of conditions that pack was designed for, really. You know, not perfect water conditions by any means, but just about fishable, and with the extra kind of visibility on those flies, they're good flies for these conditions. So I'm going to stick with those perhaps for the next pool or so, I reckon, just see what happens. Well, almost immediately after changing those flies, I wanged them in a tree. Had to go over to the far bank to get them, which knackered that pool probably, but it's okay, we had a couple out there. I've stuck with those same two flies with the change flies, and I've just come up a little bit. So a very different looking piece of water to what we were just in, but something that could be just as fishy. Nice gravelly bubble line ahead of me here. Looks really good water. If they're feeding, there's every chance of me finding a couple in a spot like this. I need to not concentrate too much on the bubble line here and fish the edges of it as well. No signs of that hitting the bottom until very late in the drift. Even with quite a long cast, it's actually quite open here. I've got opportunities to throw slightly longer casts, but I'm certainly not finding the riverbed until... oh, there. Yeah, I need a heavy point fly here. Right, so always a bit controversial this one, but I've not actually tied a point fly on, I've actually just put a swan shot on the point. And the reason for that is I know how snaggy these little streams, and particularly this little stream, can be. And if I end up having to put a 5mm point fly on the end, I just know I'm going to end up getting stuck on snags. So actually, the swan shot will get me down faster. It will get me down where I want to be, and because there's no hook point on there, it will roll better. And if it gets stuck in a snag, like that did, it's not the end of the world. There we go. There's a fish. Actually, that might not be a grayling. That might be an out-of-season one. I was expecting grayling in there. I wasn't expecting to find a trout. Try and get him in as quickly as possible. Might explain why the grayling fishing in this pool has been a bit slow. I've had good drifts and haven't had anything to show for it. So maybe there's a few spotties in there. Let's sort this guy out quickly. Where are you, buddy? Little Bruni, he needs to do some filling out. We'll let him get back and get to it. Okay, so nothing else out of that pool, just that one brownie. A little bit surprised with that. I've taken probably 10 minutes out to re-rig. The dropper was getting a little bit tangled. I put the original flies back on, so we've got the squirmy on there, we've got the baby pink on the top dropper, and we're just gonna carry on moving up. Slightly different piece of water, this, a bit more glidey. Looks nice. One thing I will say is, in the last 10-15 minutes, the weather has totally changed. First got here, there's blue sky, there's bugs hatching, it was relatively warm. But it is a very different day now. That wind has really got up. Clouds come over, it's gone real dark, particularly in the last 5 minutes. It's like someone switched off the lights. And get my excuses in early, it feels like a lot less of a fishy day than it did when I first arrived. Right now, it doesn't feel like perfect conditions, that's for sure. Let's try this. Bit of a swirly back eddy thing going on. There's plenty of places around here for a grayling to sit. Oh, there we go. There we go. We found one in the end. There had to be one up there somewhere. Just getting round here. I've got a bit of a bit of a slot above me to land him. I might come down with him actually. Oh, what have I just trodden on? Oh, angled up in my own leader. This could be interesting. I've trodden through my own leader. Are you going to behave? As long as he doesn't go charging off. I don't think it's going to go charging off. It's not a particularly big grayling, but if he does, I am totally stuck. There we go. Little move, change location, find the fish. Where are you, bud? It was on the squirmy, fly's falling out. Oh, there we go. Nice. I guess I'll never fully know whether it's just a pool that's got more fish in it, or the flies, the change of the flies has perhaps made a difference, but that hasn't taken long to find fish again on this rig. Keep popping this up there. It's not quite far enough up or across. Trying to keep myself nice and low here. That fish was pretty close to me. That's better. That's the line. Where are you? Okay, so nothing else out of that pool. I'm a little bit disappointed about that, to be honest. I thought there should have been more than one fish in there for me, but in the end I stuck the rig in the tree on the far side and had to go and get it, and that was that pretty much knackered. But I've had a bit of a walk up and I found a nice kind of steady, even pace gravel run. It's probably the most grayling-y looking piece of water I've seen so far today, and there is a grayling. First cast. How on earth I'm going to land this, I don't know, because he is almost certainly going to go flying downstream. Can I get him up here? I don't like playing fish upstream like this, but with this little island on my right, I haven't really got much choice. I don't particularly want him to go down there. It's a reasonable fish. It's one of the bigger ones so far today. I'm hoping if I can just keep a bit of steady pressure on him in this direction, I can kind of coax him back up this pool. This thing's gone a bit solid at the moment. It's almost as if something somewhere is stuck. Is that just him? It may well just be him actually. Okay, it's moved upstream slightly. Better position for me, that's for sure. Much happier with him here. Can deal with him here. Get me down, get the fish up, and he's in the net. Righty, that's a good change. Move to a spot, first cast, good fish in the net. On the baby pink as well, that's nice. Both flies are catching fish. So have a quick look. That's a nice fish, that is. That's a good grayling. Happy with that. Fat as well. You can tell it's getting towards that time of year. They're really filling out. Back you go, bud. Hopefully there's another one of those over there for me, or maybe one even bigger. Well, I was just saying it was the most grayling-y piece of water I'd seen so far, and just in time, he ate it. Let's try this again. That's better. Oh, that was a fish. By the time I'd picked the flies up and was in contact, I'd already had a take. Bugger. There we go, there's another one. Right, they are here. There are some fish here for me. He's on the squirmy this time, I think, on the red worm. Get in the net. Yeah, there we go. We found a few. God, he has absolutely gobbed that. I don't know how well you can see it, but that is gone. That is right in there. Smaller than the last one. Equally as welcome. Let's get another one. Okay, let's try that again. So that wasn't as far across. There's a bit of a, it looks like there's a bit of a scour that goes down through the middle of this pool that these fish are sat in. So I'm actually just gonna pitch that there. It's not a fish, that's the bottom. It's clearly not that deep over there either. Certainly a lot of stuff on the riverbed over there. Most casts I'm catching something off the riverbed, bits of moss or bits of weed, but in amongst them there are definitely fish. I reckon if I keep putting these flies through here, I should start getting rewards pretty soon. God dear me folks, there's no doubt about it, that weather is on its way. It's really frustrating. I've not been in much more than an hour. It wasn't forecast. Ooh, is that a fish? But it looks like this sneaky session might be getting cut short because that is crashing in on us. I've managed to find a a little spot that's a bit more out of the breeze here, but I tried to fish a couple of spots around the corner. I just got totally blown off. It's howling. Oh, there's a fish. There's a fish, but while we can find the odd sneaky spot, we might still have a shot at a few more fish. I'd like to have caught a few more than I have, in truth. It hasn't been a stellar session. There's definitely been a bit of rust on my part. I haven't fished great. That's nice. If we can get a few out of here, this would be really cool. He's taken the squirmy by the looks of it, that red worm, yep. That's been a good fly again. Come on, bud, stop that. There we go. A few of those would be lovely before this weather comes in. Just found myself a nice looking piece of water here. Nice, even pace, gravel bottom, level depth, fair bubble line, but wide enough that a shoulder grayling can sit in it if they wanted to. This looks fishy to me. Surprised if I didn't find another one up here. That wind's not going to make things easy for me, but I'd be really surprised if I couldn't find another grayling in this. Maybe a little bit further up as well. There's that nice hole at the top of the pool that looks like it should have a couple of fish in it. Yeah, this looks good. Oh no, I've just hit the tree on the far side. Oh, Andy, you fucking idiot. Well, I made a mess of that. There's no two ways about it. I made a complete mess of that. Oh well. A bit of sun's just popped out again. Wind's howling, but the sun's come out. Hopefully that'll get a few fish on the feed for me. I've got a really, really nice long riffly section in front of me. It's only the first one really I found so far today that looks like it should hold fish for me. It looks like beautiful nymphing water as well. Absolutely made for it. Oh, there's a fish. There we go. Found one eventually. It took a little bit of walking up to find that one. Got there in the end. Where are you going? Where are you going? Alrighty. Let's try and get down to this fish. Hey, righty. Okay. Okay, hook fell out in the net. I must have not entirely sure which one he ate, but he ate one of them. That's all that matters. We found another one eventually in this riffle. Oh, there he goes. He wanted to get back. Just a little guy, but that gives me hope there could be some more up here. God, look at this. Sun's broken again. It's warm, it's lovely. Fish in the net. Got out of that bad weather, and all of a sudden we're getting bites again. I do not think it's a coincidence that just in the last 10 minutes, just as that sun started to peep out a little bit further, we've started to find a few fish. Let's try that inside again. Oh, that was a fish. There's definitely a few up there for me. That's a fish, there we go. I'll just get him on the reel actually. Feels like a slightly better fish than most of the other ones. God, I hope this is a grayling. Oh, it's off. Oh man, that's actually broken me as well. What the heck? That's broken the redworm off the middle dropper. I can only assume, this will be interesting, I can only assume it was tangled. Yeah, it was. It got wrapped around one of the other standing legs. Ah, there wasn't that much pressure on that either. The drag set lightly. I wasn't horsing that. God, well, that's frustrating. What a shame. It would have been nice to have at least seen it. I've no idea what it was. Assume it was a trout. Regardless, I've whipped another redworm back on that middle dropper, and I've gone back into the same pool. I do think there's fish in here for me. That one was down that far side, and maybe we'll have a couple more casts that go a bit further across there. Down the inside this time. That looks the more grayling-y spot. A little bit slacker, a little bit flatter. I must admit, over the course of the hour and a half I've been here, I can't say that I've built up any great idea of where I think these fish should be sat today. Picking up bits and pieces in a few different sort of kinds of area. Okay, so I've come out of that riffle. I've actually just come back to the pool that I hit the barbed wire in, just to just to see. It looks a lovely piece of water, and obviously I didn't get the most out of it. I thought rather than walk past it, just give it a couple of drops. Now, I hate fishing downstream. I've already sort of messed this up. I've approached it from the wrong side. Oh, fish at the end of the drift. I always have a little strike just at the end of a drift. You never know. You often get takes just at the bottom end of a drift that you don't feel, and that was one of them. I'll be honest, that's caught me completely by surprise. I was daydreaming a little bit there. Fortunately, over the years, I've built up the muscle memory to just strike at the end of every drift pretty much, and on that one, sure enough, he had eaten the red worm. That's cool, because that sort of justifies coming back to this area as well. I thought it looked good earlier, it's just I messed it up first cast. Red worm out. Oh, are you going to sit still for us? Nice fish. Good justifier, that one. Right, let's take another step down here and just keep fishing this. As I said earlier, I think there should be a few in here. As long as they've recovered from me going and getting my flies back, I should be okay. Well guys, one more fish out of that pool just to kind of justify the idea that they were in there all along, even though I messed it up the first time, came back and swept up one straggler at the end. I'll be honest, this wind is driving me absolutely bonkers. I only wanted to come out for a few hours anyway. I've been here for about 2.5 hours now. In total, it's been a real weird session. Like, the second the sun went in, or second the wind got up, things got tougher. As the sun came out, it brightened up a little bit, it warmed up, bugs hatched, caught fish. It seems pretty straightforward. If you had the warmth, if you could shelter from the wind, you could find taking fish. There were pretty big periods today where I couldn't find fish in good looking water. It was really frustrating. It's going to be a bit of a weird vlog, this one. And there's kind of one fish here, one fish there, moving around quite a lot, different spots. The reality is that's how this session has gone. At no point have I felt like I was really on these fish. Always having to move, always having to try different stuff, fish at different depths. That split shot went on and off a few times during the course of the day. Didn't catch anything from the deeper water actually with the split shot, which is interesting. Most of the fish were in slightly shallower water. Perhaps a reflection that there were a few bugs hatching and the fish had moved onto the shallows to feed. In truth, I don't really know, but this is a total bonus session. I didn't give myself a chance of doing any fishing this week at all. Guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Really appreciate it. As I say, apologies if it's a bit of a strange one. Don't forget the Nymph in a box kit that I've used all day is on the web shop, as are all the flies that I've used during the course of the day's fishing. I'm being watched by 2 sheep here, which is a little bit off-putting. So yeah, all the flies, all the nymphing kit, all available on the web shop. Here is the address right here. If you want to pick yourself up some new flies, some new fishing kit, just in time for the new trout season, go ahead and click those buttons. Guys, I'm going to get back to the cast, a bit of a walk. Thank you very much for watching this vlog. Really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like. Drop me a comment in the comment section. We always appreciate that. And IB and I will see you guys again soon for some more fishing and stuff. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.